Hey, YouTube. Vamos, amigos. Did you miss me? I'm back. It's your boy, Duke. Obviously, we had the Christian Eriksen situation take place in the Denmark v. Finland game. Terrible scenes. Unbelievably emotional. Had some own things going on here at the house. Just didn't feel right recording a video for Sunday night's games, but we're back every single day through the rest of group play and most likely through the knockout round, giving you everything you need to know about the following day's actions. Today's June 13th. It is Sunday night, Monday morning for you guys overseas, and we appreciate the response so far to the videos. It's been great. The views are up, the likes are up, and if you haven't yet, and we've seen a few of you have, and we appreciate it, subscribe to the channel. Helps us out a lot. Throw a like on the video. Thanks to EliteFantasy.com for allowing us to bring you all of this content. And of course, we didn't have the YouTube video up. We still had the article up over on EliteFantasy.com. One of my guys won $3,500, true story, in a contest today. 3 games coming up to you on Monday morning. Let's talk about the tournament so far. Obviously, from the videos here, I've given you several winners. We're going to continue to do that, hopefully, throughout the rest of the tournament. It's been insane. No game crazier than Netherlands and Ukraine today. 0-0 at half, which is a theme that's been going on throughout the entire tournament. Think about this. We have 19 goals through 7 games. That's 2.71 goals per game. And, of course, that includes the game we talked about already, the Eriksen game, which, by the way, why'd they make those guys go play that game? They literally saw their teammate die on the field, had to be brought back to life. They go into the locker room for a few minutes, half hour, and then because they find out, thank God, he's okay, and they get a FaceTime from him, they go play the game. Someone, Kjær, was crying during warm-ups. Schmeichel definitely wasn't himself. You could see it in his eyes, and Christian Fuchs was doing the studio work here in the States, and he's been teammates with him for a decade. He said, I saw in his eyes he was not ready. And, of course, the goal comes in from the left side. Over Simon Kjær. Through Kasper Schmeichel. Unbelievable circumstance there. I don't care if the players tell you they want to go play. You have to take that decision out of their hands at that minute. Delay it 24 hours. Delay it a week if you have to. Just don't make them go out there and play that. It wasn't right. And, of course, it's cost Denmark some points here and some valuable opportunity to move forward in their group, which I think they'll still do. They'll be fine. But without Christian Eriksen and now having lost their easiest game in the group play, certainly behind the 8 ball. It's like I had a buddy in college once. Every time we knew he was drunk when he'd just randomly tell us he could drive. We're like, what? We're not driving anywhere. Give us your keys. We would literally take his keys from him even though we weren't going anywhere because we knew that was the trigger for him being too intoxicated. If you got a bunch of dudes crying in the locker room when one of their brothers has just had a serious health issue and they say they want to go play, take the damn keys from them. Don't let them go out and play. Shame on you, UEFA. Shame on you. But scoring is up, even in spite of that. And we've had 5 of the 7 games go to halftime at 0-0, including the 7-goal thriller or 5-goal thriller we had with the Netherlands here. But we got a ton to get to, so let's go ahead and bring it on over. Of course, if you don't know who I am, my name is Duke. You can find me on Twitter at DukeDFS. Go ahead and give me a follow. Let's get this thing up. Why don't I have 10,000 followers? Let's get up to 10,000 if you need to. My article over on EliteFantasy.com is in for edit right now. It's got a bunch of information about the game. It's proprietary. You can't see it. Don't look. But we got our first game of the day. It is Scotland and the Czech Republic. This is on Monday morning, obviously 9 a.m. here in the States. This is a website we have here called WhoScored.com. It's a really good resource for everything you can possibly want to know about these teams, including some heat maps that we'll look at here in just a second. But you see, we have 2 recent contests between these 2 countries here in the Nations League action. Scotland winning both of those games 1-0 and 2-1. But you'll see an interesting trend here, and we'll talk through the tactics like we typically do, and of course from a betting angle as well. But 3-5-2 from Scotland and a 4-2-3-1 from the Czech Republic. You see the score, 1-0. This was played in Glasgow, just like this game will be here on Monday morning. Steve Clark, the manager, just like he will be here. Everything is somewhat similar, but we're missing 3 crucial players here from Scotland. Left back, where's Andy Robertson, best player on the team? How about our boy who's probably going to be starting here, Mr. Tierney? And then how about up front, Che Adams? And in the midfield, where is Scott McTominay? So missing 3 big players and still pick up the win. But something that you'll see here, if we go to the heat maps, look at the touches. Almost 800 touches, just around 488 over here for Scotland. That's the way both of these contests have gone, and kind of the way I see this thing going here on Monday morning is the Czech Republic, with the style of play and the setup that they have with the 4-2-3-1, is very balanced. It's very possession-oriented, but can they create the dangerous chances? And when they do, can they finish? You'll see in this game, the 1-0 finish, they outshot Scotland 16-5. Similar thing that happened here in the 2-1 game as well. If I can pull this up quick, which I probably should have done beforehand. And we head down here, similar 3-5-2 here for Scotland, who's on this side, the Czech Republic. Their typical 4-2-3-1. 19 shots for the Czech Republic, 6 touches. We go to the heat map, or 6 shots, excuse me. Closer on the possession stats, but look, a little bit more progression from Scotland here playing away from home. Mr. Dykes up front as usual. Andy Robertson gets a start here, and all of a sudden they get a little bit more possession. They're a bit more progressive. Add in Che Adams. Add in Scott McTominay. I just see them getting a little bit more possession, a little bit more foot in the game than they did, let's say, in this 1-0 win here. But the thing is, this formation is basically solidifying the middle of the pack. What they had an issue with in qualifying was goals conceded. I think they were around 1.8 goals conceded, if I'm not, 1.6 goals conceded per game in group play. In qualification, and yet they're still here. And then just 1.9 actually goals against and 1.6 goals for. And so this is a team that's clearly trying to play low-scoring games, keep the game close, keep the game in front of them. And what this back five does is solidifies that defense there in front of their 36-year-old goalkeeper. So we have the back three. We'll probably have O'Donnell here, McGinn, McTominay, Robertson, and Adams. And this is how they're going to attack. Now, look, typically we'll have deep progression. This is defensive solidity. So maybe we step here, and they'll drop even deeper than this, by the way. So let's say we hold our 18. Robertson tucks in a little bit. Here. We have good solidity in front of our goalkeeper. Now we're just getting wild with it, right? So how are we going to counter this once we do win the ball for Scotland? And by the way, probably figuring it out by now, I do like Scotland to win this game. Not because they won the last two, because of how this game's going to set up. Number one, Robertson's the best player on the field for either of these teams. McTominay and McGinn are close to the top there, and Che Adams has that element of pace that typically they don't have up front for this Scottish team. So here's the issue. Once we win the ball here, it's Robertson can come inside or outside, which he does both, but typically likes to hug this touchline. And then we're creating channels here. Che Adams likes to work these channels and find space in behind. And so it's really just a couple passes, and we're out of pressure. So let's say we win the ball here, come out wide to Robertson. Adams finds a channel. We're down the line, and we're out. We're out, right? All these guys are pushing back, trying to drop. And so within 3 passes, 2-3 passes, this back line has gone from the top of our 18 to now a progressive, more pressing style where Adams is in behind, McGinn's trailing here. We have McTominay here, and then probably Dykes is here for Scotland. And now we can reset our line and try to win the ball higher up the pitch to then go and create some chances. Now, the typical formation is going to start back here. That's where our base is going to be. But don't be shocked if you see this Scotland team try to play in behind and then press that back line forward to then regain possession if they don't win it in the first place, and then have a chance there. I don't think it'll be light pressure either. I think it'll be pressure, and then if they don't win the ball, that's when they'll drop off, retreat to the top of this box here. So look, I'm not saying it's going to be a walk away. They're only plus 170 to win at the moment. They are a slight favorite at home with a 2 total. Going to be a very, very close game. I can't see either of these teams blowing each other out, but I will take the home team here to get the win at plus 170. That's where I'm leaning, and probably what I'm going to put into the elite sports betting play over there. Let's talk about Poland, Slovakia. Slovakia, to me, is the worst team in their group. I have them finishing fourth place. Poland, not that they're great, but they have obviously a solid base through the middle here. Glick, Krakowiak, Zielinski, Lewandowski, Rybus, and Motor as well. We look at their results. Not a ton to love here. I mean, an okay game against the Netherlands. Okay, they tie Hungary, who's decent. They lose to England. They tie Russia. They tie Poland, or Iceland, excuse me. This is what they are. Against the elite of the elite, they're not quite up to the snuff. But when you have Robert Lewandowski, you're always in a game. We take a look at a match like the Andorra match. Look at where we're starting our line. The heat map basically starts 15, 20 yards outside of their 18. And it is a lot of, if we look at the chalkboard here and we go to passes, it's a ton of the midfield passes here, right? This is that Zielinski, Lewandowski, Krakowiak area where we're using our experience and our talent here to keep possession, and then we work the channels. It's not a ton of left to right around the back. It's more progressive, more direct than a lot of these other teams in the tournament. And as you can see, when it works out, 3-0 is a result we can get our head around. As far as Slovakia's lineup, not a ton to love here. Obviously, we're all familiar with Dubravka at Newcastle, Skriniar at Inter Milan. Hamsik is now back in the squad. That's a huge boost. He hasn't been around. But this, my boy Saka, this is what I'm looking to exploit right here. Hasn't played a ton of club football. Just 4 games in the Europa League, 17 appearances, but no starts essentially for club. With country, it's a little bit of a different situation here. But a younger center back, this is where Lewandowski, I think, is simply going to park himself right here. That's where he's going to be. And we're going to use everyone else to then work in this space. And look, it's not going to be for 90 minutes. Lua will drop back in here. He'll drop in here. If he's not getting the ball, he's going to look for it and try to get involved. But in possession, he's going to be parked right here because Skriniar is a monster in the air. A bit of a donkey with his feet and his tackling, but a monster in the air. So Lua parks himself right here. These guys work in here to occupy these players. Zielinski's going to be a key. But I think from Rybus, Motor, or Zielinski, we're going to have a ball into this back post here for Lua, who's going to be one-on-one with our boy Saka there on the back post. I do like Poland to win. They're just minus 130 favorites here. Throw 1.3 on them to win 1. From a DraftKings perspective, there's a ton to like here. Zielinski obviously has some set pieces. Rybus, Motor maybe have some set pieces. Lewandowski, the most expensive player on the slate. You'll have to read my breakdown to let you know what I think about that. From the other side of things, again, check out my breakdown if you want to do that. But I do like Poland to win that game, minus 130. Now, how about the game of the day? In my opinion, the 2 best teams in the group. If I'm being honest, I have Spain finishing first, Sweden second, Poland third, Slovakia fourth. And Sweden was a bit of a wagon in qualifying, 2.3 goals per game, but just 0.9 conceded. And that's what we got to talk about, this solid base of a 4-4-2 that they always play. They are not one of these nations that's experimenting with 10 different formations to see how we can make things work. 4-4-2. It's been like that since I can remember, to be honest. And up front, they do have some talent. Isak is a young forward who plays in La Liga. Very, very talented kid. They call him Baby Zlatan. He's going to be fun to watch. But this back four, Lindelof and Helander are giving me nightmares, to be honest. Augustinsson and Lustig are decent players, and I'm actually going to probably target them later in group play from a DraftKings perspective. This is an old team. Outside, Berg, older side. Larson on the backside of his career. Forsberg still, is what he is. He's never been a super athletic player, but not getting any younger. And same thing with the back four. And Norfeld, decent goalie, but not great. And on the other side, Spain is just class on top of class on top of class. And what I like is Luis Enrique has added a little bit of directness to the play as well. So you guys are familiar by now. We have our triangle here, our 3 up top, and our 3 in the midfield. Sergio Busquets still recovering, I think in quarantine from COVID. So this will likely be Rodri here. Some combination. Maybe Thiago makes it into the first 11. And I have Morata playing through the middle. Torres can play right or left. I have Moreno as most likely to start. If he does, he'll probably be on the right, Torres on the left. If Olmo comes into the team, then we'll switch it over there. So for the sake of this argument, let's just say Olmo's playing. We know Jordi Alba loves to get up the left side. And of course, we're playing out of the back. This is all here. Rodri can even drop a little bit if he needs to as these guys push up, push up, push up, push up, push up. This is in possession, guys. Morata loves to play, come back in the space and all that, but he does all of his damage here between the posts. This is where he's going to be, and I think he's going to score, by the way. And this Swedish back four, it's really two blocks. And that's where the fluidity in the combination play, the quick passing of Spain is really going to unlock this defense. Probably should have put all these names in here. Rarely do we see one go deep and one go high in this Swedish setup. It's typically they're playing the half space in between players here. And if they're playing a 4-4-2, that's great. Match up. But when we have the fluidity of Spain, it's going to be pulling people out left and right. And if they don't, they're going to get into terrible numbers down situations. So if Morata steps into this space, the center backs are going to stay. And then we're, 5v4, 6v4 in the midfield, along with 5 out here against 2. It's just going to be a possession setup right here. You might say, that's not the worst thing in the world, Duke. Sweden, if they can get a point out of this, fantastic. You think Spain's just going to accept this for 90 minutes? That's where I like what Luis Enrique has done here. So he'll take Morata and just say, keep your butt between these two center backs. Let's occupy them. He'll push Rodri forward in here, and we'll have here, and then we'll have Laporte, and we'll push in here. And this is where the fluidity comes in. So Moreno can drop deep, Alaba can push up, and now we're playing as Isak stays here. Now we're in a numbers up situation here. How do we get to this spot? This is where the directness comes in, right? So Alaba's here. Here's our center backs. Rodri, right back. Moreno, Morata, bam, 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 bam. And Torres. Once we win the ball, Spain. It's here and then here. It's not so much through the middle as it used to be. We're going more direct toward the wings. And it's not playing in behind and chasing, but it's not afraid to make a pass to your left wing from your center back, right? So let's say Laporte has the ball. This would probably be Paul Torres, but 2 left-footed center backs, by the way. It's going to be interesting. They can now bypass this midfielder who's now checking into space and probably has a guy around him and find this pass. And that's where we're out right away. As opposed to just accepting possession around the back here, which they'll do some, don't get me wrong. We can now be a little bit more direct. And all that means is we're going to create more chances with the players they have up front, likely to finish those chances. Not getting great odds, minus 265. So saying Spain's going to win isn't exactly a revelation. Spain win and no, both teams to score. Spain to nil is minus 105. And that's what I like for the game on Monday. And look, I break all this down and more in my article over on EliteFantasy.com. If you want to go check that out, make sure you do. Give me a follow on Twitter if you haven't yet, at DukeDFS. And again, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Wanted to do a shorter video this time with 3 games and really one monster favorite. Spend some more time on Spain. We'll be back tomorrow night. That's Monday with another video previewing Tuesday's action. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Adios.